Okay, hi everybody. I'm not sure how this is going to look for you guys when I'm doing the recording of the webcam as well as the PowerPoint, but let's give it a shot for this week. Always up for trying something new. So, a lot of homework this week. I apologize, as well as the Serving It Right exam for those of you that hadn't done it already. So this week there's going to be no homework on any of the case studies in this chapter 5. I'm actually not a huge fan of the chapter case studies, but they're still a good quick read, and there's a few little tidbits in the chapter that hopefully you can take away with you. We're going to go over that in the next little bit. So this is going to be 2 videos this week, one chapter, chapter 5. So make sure you read chapter 5 before watching the PowerPoint video presentation so that you're acquainted with what I'm going to talk about. It makes it a little simpler. I'll try to slow down my talking a little bit because I'm only doing one chapter this week, so I'm going to do it a little bit slower, and hopefully that helps with your comprehension and being able to absorb what I'm saying. So moving on. So managing service encounters is the chapter this week. There is a case study right at the beginning called At Your Service Spotlight. It talks about Tend Travel. So they're, a different type of travel company. They're in between the customer and the actual product, offering different tours and different things of that sort. They have a high level of specialization. So they have, what they're doing is they're solving problems for high-end customers. They're managing service levels that customers expect when they're at a destination. And they're kind of going beyond what the usual tourist trips are. So when you're going to the places that they service, they're trying to do some different things for their customers. So they've been around for a long time and they've moved with the times, which is great to see. But and they're moving with the kind of digital age, but keeping up with the in-person customer service as well, which is great to see. So behind the scenes, they're doing a lot of negotiation. They're doing detailed planning for customers, and they're taking into account budget considerations of different companies that they're working with. So the first section in this chapter talks about the employee's role in delivering service. Probably not something that a lot of us have thought of before, but there is the employee's role and the customer's role in delivering service. So this time we're talking just about the employee's role. So the service encounter is it's a social encounter that people have with customers. So we have to remember that this is their what they're going to take away from the experience is that social encounter. So the interactive marketing occurs at the moment of truth. So everything that they've brought into the experience, everything they've read about a company, that comes to a head when they, step in front of that counter at a hotel or when they get on that airplane. That's when the service part of it starts. So service quality is judged on a few different dimensions. So I'm just pulling this up here. So assurance, empathy, reliability, responsiveness, tangibles are some of the qualities that they look at when they're looking at service quality. And I really thought it was interesting when they talk about this emotional labor, that employees have to do. It is, frontline employees, they have to remain empathetic, responsive, friendly, and courteous to people, and that takes a toll on employees. So you have to engage strangers, you have to suppress some of your real feelings sometimes when you're dealing with a customer you don't really like, and you still have to maintain that level of service that your employer demands of you or expects of you. And often you have to cope with some of the emotional stress of doing certain types of jobs in the tourism industry. So really like how they word that. And they talk a little bit in this section also about how to find employees that can carry emotional stress well. So people that are able to cope with it. And then also trying to train people to cope with that emotional stress of the job that they're doing. Different types of jobs carry a lot more emotional labor than others. And, within certain companies, even those jobs are different. So an example might be, at WestJet, the airline, if you're working in the complaints department and you're constantly getting complaints all day in and out, that can be difficult, and you can carry a lot of emotional labor and emotional stress with you. So there's definitely an employee's role in all of that. So 15 service techniques at the moment of truth. So this is when you're meeting the customer for the first time. The technique often is to greet all customers, and it says promptly greet all customers. That word promptly is very important to a lot of companies. Nobody likes to be ignored. They don't want to wait. You want to treat a guest like somebody in your own home. So that's a key to, great customer service and managing the encounter. Use appropriate icebreakers. So you can break the ice with, safe conversations, conversation starters. And a lot of companies will even give this in their training. And then you can build your rapport based on some of that common interest, For example, if you're working at a hotel and it's, a event going on and you think the people might be there staying for that event, you say, "Oh, are you here for the curling event?" And if they are, then you can, show some interest in what they're doing and why they're here. So compliment freely and sincerely. Customers love to be complimented, even if they know it may not be truthful or genuine. It creates positive feelings that, for customers when they feel that they are valued and that somebody, is liking something about them or that they're there. So giving them a compliment and doing it sincerely is important. And it can also help lead to customer loyalty. Calling customers by their name. Nothing more than the sound of their own name is very important to clients and customers. So use it if you know it, but be sensitive to the customer's first or last name, not to become over familiar too quick. I personally find it very, I don't know if the word is insulting, but I don't enjoy when people use, my name as they are like a personal friend of mine, right? But using it in a respectful manner is great. So maintaining eye contact with customers, very important. It makes them feel like you're actually in it with them with whatever you're doing. There's different levels of eye contact, and there's apparently in the textbook they talk about 3 eyes to eye contact. There's intimidation. When you're making eye contact with someone, that might be how it's coming across. There's intimacy and there's involvement. So you're looking at involvement. That's the type of eye contact you want to make in a customer service setting. Ask for feedback. You want to know as soon as possible if there's any problems in the service delivery. It's always great when you're, getting that contact with a customer, helping them. Let's use an example of a hotel, and you're handing a key to somebody. You've given them the instructions of how to get to their room, anything else they need. And as they're leaving, you can just say, "Is there anything else I can help you with? Is there anything else that we can do for you?" Things like that make it a very positive experience at the point of contact with a customer. We want to listen carefully using verbal and nonverbal signals, mostly nonverbal for this one, sorry, and listen to what the speaker is saying. So when a customer is saying something to you, we need to use our ability to figure out what they are saying by listening to their words carefully. Use effective service vocabulary. So positive phrases that build customer rapport and loyalty. I think that's, great. Some companies have certain, phrases that they use, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe you can. Whenever you leave a store or something, they have something they say. Smile freely and often. Easiest thing to do is just to throw a smile to a customer. If you're busy with somebody else, just smile at them or let them know you'll be with them in a moment. appropriately touching customers when possible. Probably not a thing anymore with COVID around here now, but it's a powerful form of communication. I think they gave an example of a server in a restaurant, and when they have that, touch, they did notice that there was a higher level of enjoyment for the customer, and a higher level of tips at the end of the day in one of the studies. So enjoy people in their diversity. Not to judge, people, but figure out what they would like, and help service them no matter what their ethnicity. So have a good attitude about your job. I love one of the things in this chapter actually said that people with a positive attitude live 8 years longer than those with a negative one, or something along those lines. I'll have to find it again as I'm flipping through this chapter. But just having a good attitude about your job will just help you enjoy life a lot more. Keep your workplace clean and attractive. It's important to create a great first impression by keeping it attractive to clients coming in, and meeting their expectations on that level. Dress and groom appropriately. A lot of workplaces will convey how they want you to dress, but if not, then you have to make sure that whatever your dress, it meets the standards of the company. Maintain a good posture. It involves the way you position your body and should appear attentive and ready to assist. So that's when people are walking into your store, they're not seeing with your feet up on the desk and just hanging out there on your phone. So that's great to have good body posture and be ready whenever clients come in. So, customer service training. So we talked about the Ritz-Carlton a few chapters ago. Their slogan, or their training tells them that we're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. So they expect that the attitude and the presentation that they give and how they present themselves to customers is how in the same manner that they expect their customers to behave or look or act, right? So the customer service training is something that I think more companies need to do. There are, lots of executives that advocate for more customer service training, and the companies that invest in it can see its benefit long term. There's a few examples in the chapter we'll go through later. So service-oriented firms sometimes are reluctant to invest in training, but they'll find the benefits further on. Small firms, it takes time, it takes finance and investment to be able to do it. So there is a correlation between a strong training program and employee retention. If you feel trained and equipped to do your job, you're going to stick around for longer typically. So you can look externally for that training or internally, and it should include how to service different types of people and different types of customers. So, snapshot of the Steamboat Spring Training for Service Excellence. This was really interesting. I have never heard of a town taking a customer service training course. That's quite interesting that they would open it up that wide. But so that's a case study in the textbook. You can have a read through it. The whole town went through a service excellence program. Whatever companies wanted to participate. But it basically taught them, how, to go the extra mile. It included techniques for connection stacking, for finding connections with different customers, finding that common ground, and using that relationship to gain confidence and loyalty to the destination. So I think some of the statistics they quoted in that were a major increase in the number of visitors and the recommendations to other friends and family to visit. So they rose to 89% by the end of 2016 from 73% in 2013. So in 3 years, it grew over 15%, and that is great. That's a very positive impact of people's opinions of a area. There was a restaurant owner that had improved satisfaction scores, and a condominium owner that saw an increase in bookings. So it was definitely beneficial for a lot of people. Okay, first video is done. We're halfway done the chapter. Gonna do one more video, so you only have 30 minutes of video this week. You'll have lots of time to read the chapter, and we do need to get going on the next exam you'll have to be preparing for now that your Serving It Right exam's done. So I'll go over that at the end of the next video. Thank you.